Warm welcome to Saturday evening tutorial for derivative trading. Today is the 27th of January, and so thank you for coming. Always happy to see you on a Saturday evening. Now, if you haven't signed in yet, please do the scan and sign in. Otherwise, just do it at a late. Just come up to me later on. Okay. What I'm going to do is so today I know I've said this several times, but I really want to try and catch up on these questions. And I would love to have your participation on these. Now, when you sign on to uReply, please do, use your real name and your real student ID. I'm not going to, penalize anybody, but I do want to know how you guys are getting on, and try to do it on your own. Don't discuss it with your neighbor. The point is not to get the right answer, okay? The point is that you give me the answer that you think is the correct one, okay? If you don't know the answer and you talk to your neighbor and then you got the answer, there's no meaning to that, okay? I'm not after the right answer. Frankly, I don't really care that much. Now, what you're gonna, so we already, so last time we already did question 1, so I'm going to start with question 2. Before I do that, just to let you know that this tutorial file, I'm going to reuse it for, so this is a file that you saw basically 2 days ago. There is a difference, which is that on page 7, I have added a link. So the tutorial for Thursday night, 2 nights ago, I have recorded it. I already produced it and I uploaded it to YouTube. That's one difference. So if you click on that, it will go to, this is tutorial number 5 for, yeah, so you get the idea, okay? And then, so today is tutorial number 6 or 7. Anyway, it'll be the one down here, which I'm also recording as we speak, or I think I am. Hello? Yes, I'm doing that. And I'm going to go through these questions with you. But like I said, I don't really want you just to sit there. So your participation is always much appreciated. Now, maybe we try and do it the way, so I think in the final exam, there will be 50 questions. So it'll be like about 3 minutes each. But they're harder than these ones that I'm going to show you. So for these, maybe we can have like 2.5 minutes or something. Okay? It's very good training for you, trust me. So can you all get out your iPhone or your tablet or your PC? Go to please go to http ureply.mobi. You need to sign in later on if you haven't done that already. Okay. Yeah. So http ://ureply.mobi. The session number is 12824. I'm going to ignore question 1 because we already done that. So I'm going to start at question 2, but I'll wait till you guys are able to log on first. One, 2, 8, 2, 4. Okay, so how are we going? Everyone's logged on? Please use your real name and your real student ID. Okay, so I'm going to start with. So you're still trying to log on. Okay, so you can always catch up and jump right back in if ever you locked yourself out by accident. Okay. Okay, so let's start. So I'm gonna flip. Whoops. Question 1 to start with. Shut that down. Okay, so no one answered question 1, which is fine. Next question. Next question. The question is, what is the answer to question 2? That's the question. Okay. Yeah, I know. Now here's the question. So well, in fact, you can only. So C is obviously a wrong answer. Okay. There are only 2. So I buy the October 55 to 60 Strangle for $5.50. The current share price, this is talking about HSBC shares. The current share price is $57.50. On this transaction, I will earn money if the share price moves 10% until it's, well, I think it's not good English, sorry to say that, at expiry or by expiry. Okay. So I will earn money if the share price moves 10% at expiry, or maybe by expiry is better. Okay. Or I will not earn money. Now, you don't have questions like this in the exam. It's almost like going to Macau. You're flipping a coin, yes or no, up or down, true or false. But here, always happy to discuss this. Okay, so what is your answer to that? Show you the question again. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute until we get to 10. Okay, now it's 9 minutes 18 seconds. Okay. Okay, so Place your bets. Continue. Ready? It's either A or B. Okay, give you 10 seconds. Okay, how did we get on with that one? All right, so we have 18 responses, and so obviously one of them is wrong. And I'm afraid A actually is wrong, so at least the majority got them right. Well, actually there are 2 students who didn't reply. I wonder what they would pick. Now, look at this question carefully, okay? So now, you got to be careful with this question. The key word, I guess, is it's a strangle, okay? And it tells you that it's a $55 to $60 strangle. So it should be quite easy to, and then you are buying that for $5.50, okay? So what that means is the share price is now 57.5, and then you have, first of all, you need to know what a straddle is, okay? So it's just you are long a call, strike 60, and you are long a put, strike 55. And the thing is, if you just think, well, if the share price moves 10%, which will be $5.75, so it looks like that it's going to take you all the way over here to what, $62 or $63.25 on this side, okay? And on the other side, it's going to take you down to 51.75, I think, okay? And it looks like you are making money because the option is in the money. Here the call is in the money, and on the other side the put is in the money. It's true, but you need to take into account what you actually paid for it, okay? If you add this $5.50, so you're not going to earn money. That is the meaning of this question, okay? That is why they give you this piece of information here. Now, it is possible that with some questions, that we on purpose give you some data which is actually not relevant. Here, this is not the case, okay? Here, in fact, every number has a function. Every number has a role to play, okay? This one, this one, this one, this one. Is everyone okay with that? Yeah? Okay. All right, now, let's try the next one. So question 3, I sell the October 22,000 and 22,200 call spread in the Hang Seng Index for $50. So that kind of means 50 points. That's what they mean, okay? Because you are talking about an index which doesn't really have a price, okay? But basically 50 points. So you're setting a call spread with a 200-point spread, and then you are being paid 50 points, okay? So what happens to my maximum profit? A, B, C, or D? Okay, so it's 15:30, so I'll give you until 18 to answer this question. Okay, give you 1 more minute. Okay, are you all ready? You're going to pick an alphabet because I'm going to flip over to this page. So next question, what is the answer to question 3? Continue. And you can now choose between A, B, C, and D. Okay. Some people are undecided, or you don't know. Okay. Okay, so we have people picking every single available answer except B. There is no E. So that's why we have a market. The majority answer actually is the correct one, B. Now, don't worry if you get the wrong answer. Like I've said before, just make sure you understand why the right answer is the right answer. Okay. For this question, so this was question 2. So for question 3, first of all, you must know what a call spread is. Now, a call spread is when you have a call which has a lower strike, so 22,000, and then there is another call there. Oops. Now this is when you are long a call spread. Okay. And you actually have to pay for it for the simple reason that if you buy this one, so obviously, and then you sell this one, so the one underneath would always be more expensive than the one above. So if you buy this whole package, then of course you need to pay, okay? But when you read the question, it actually says I sell. Okay, so the trick here is you need to know what a call spread is. So my first reaction is always just to draw that. That's when you buy a call spread. And then when you sell, well, guess what? You just flip it like a mirror. Okay? So when you sell the call spread, you don't need to pay. You're on the other side, okay? In fact, you need to receive, or someone will pay you. And that is that $50 that was in the question, okay? Now, there are a lot of different ways to think of this. The first thing you can say is that when you're long a call spread, you are actually long delta. Okay. Now, what does long delta mean? We talked about this. Long delta means when the market goes up, you're very happy. Okay. Now, here you're not really so happy because you actually get stopped out at 22,200. But anyway, you want the market to go up. Okay. So that's the first thing. So if you are short a call spread, you must be short delta, which means if the market goes down, you are happy. Okay? Now, then you can look for clues in the answer. So if you want the market to go down, so clearly you're not going to consider A or D as candidates because they are talking about indices being above certain level, okay? In fact, it would be one of these two, okay? Now, how do I know which one it is? Well, you know, when you sell something, when you sell options, okay? When you sell options, such as selling a call spread, and they pay you 50, well, guess what? That's all you're going to get. That would be the maximum. That would be the most you are going to earn, and no more than this. Okay. So the P&L actually looks something like. So if this was 22,200, and this was 22,000. Okay. So the moment the index goes beyond this point, they will actually claim on you. Okay. So if it was 20, if at the end, if at maturity, the index ends up at 22,010, they're going to claim that 10 points from you. Okay. So that means your break even is actually 22,050. Okay. So you basically have 150 points of exposure. So we can actually flip this question and ask you, what is your worst case scenario? What would that be? Well, we haven't asked it. In fact, you can change all of these answers to make them correct. So for C and D, your maximum loss is 150. So D now is correct, if you see what I mean. Okay? Is everyone okay with that? Yeah? All right. So now let's have a look at number 4 then. So I buy this is a good one. Okay, I buy the October 150 call in Hong Kong Exchange. This is the company. Okay, it's confusing, but you're buying calls in Hong Kong Exchange, the company. So this is a stock option, and you pay 550. I sell 100 shares at. Actually, you short sell. Okay, you short sell 100 shares at 146 each, and when you buy the call, it is a call for 100 shares. Okay. So there are 100 little options in there, in other words. Okay? So this position is similar to doing what? So I'll give you up to 28. It actually helps. My advice to you is if you have a pen and some scrap paper in front of you, like these two ladies over here, and then you start, drawing payoff diagrams and start writing down put call parity formulas and stuff like that. It will help you get to the right answer, I think, instead of just thinking in abstract without writing something down. Okay, have you made up your mind? Okay, let's flip over to the next question. What is the answer to question 4? I'll show it to you one more time, just for another 10 seconds or so. Okay. Okay. Ready? Okay. So democracy is working here. Actually, the answer that most people chose is the right one, which is A. Now, why is it A? So first of all, when you so being long a stock is, to put it in a simplistic manner, it's like being long a call and short a put. And so that means if you are long a put, it is like being long a call, and then you short sell the stocks. Okay, I'm just rearranging the alphabet. So if there are any answers here, which is a put, which is a call, you know that it's not correct. So this package here becomes synthetically a put option. Okay, and you can really see that. So if you short sell some shares, what is the one thing you fear the most? It is when markets go up. But if you have a call, now you can relax, because then you're going to get compensated when the market shoots for the sky. The problem is, well, there are two things here. First of all, the call is going to cost you some money, and the second thing is you are not actually covered for the first $4. So you short sell at 146, and you are going to have a loss of $4 if it goes from 146 to 150. Okay, and in addition, because you have bought an option at 550, so at the 150 point, actually your loss will be 950. Okay. Now, actually, after that, you don't have any losses, because when you lose money on the short sell, okay, so your short sell payoff is like this, okay, but then you have a call option which is going to offset. So this one, as it goes down, is going to be cancelled by this one. So beyond 150, you don't have any losses. So this is your maximum loss. Okay. Now, on the other side, you can try and figure out what if the stock price stays at 146. Okay. So at 150, you have minus $4 of losses from the short sell, and then you lose 550 on the call. And if the stock price was 146, then you don't have any losses on the short selling. Okay, but on the call option, it's still pretty useless. Okay, so you can see that this is the payoff that you have now, and this is actually equivalent to being long a put option. Okay, first of all, as the market goes down, you are making money, although you still have some losses. Okay, so you must have a put option of some kind, and so A is the correct answer. Okay, it would be as if you have bought a put at 150 at $9.50. Okay, is everyone okay with that? Yeah. Okay. If not, if you're still unclear, let me know later and I can go through it again. Okay. Now let's have a go at this one, which is question 5. AMS Transportation is just the name of a company. Okay, it trades at $1.80. Interest rate is 4% per annum, and expiry is 1 year from now. The call at strike $2 is worth 20 cents. What is the put actually worth? Okay, I'll give you until 36.5. Okay. Is everyone okay with this? So just pick an alphabet, and I'm going to flip over. So next question is, what's the answer to question 5? Here's question 5. Give you a few more seconds. Is everyone okay? Hey, 10 seconds. Oh, very good. Everyone got this right. So you probably don't need me to explain. Did I explain about question 4? I did that actually in the question paper. Okay. Now for question 5, I can do that here too. So it's just a very simple application of the put call parity. The thing that you have to be careful about is this F here, and I'm just using notation that is consistent with what Govert is doing in his notes. If you break this down, it actually breaks down to S plus interest on the strike. And I think we went through that 2 tutorials ago. Now, this is not the forward. Okay, you can call it F, you can call it A, B, C, or not C, you have a C over there. But this is not actually a forward, okay? So just be aware of that. So C minus P is equal to this, which means 0.2 minus P is 1.8 plus, so the strike is 2, and 4% of $2 is 8 cents. So minus the strike. So you can just solve for P, which is 0.32. Okay, everyone is okay with that? So 2.2, yeah, minus 1.8 minus 0.8. Yeah, this is correct. Anyway, well done. So everyone got this correct. Okay. All right, now question number 6. Have a go at this. So I'll give you until 40.5. By the way, you are welcome to take pictures of these, but I will share this file with you once we are done, and I will actually upload this file to Blackboard. Okay? But if you want to take pictures, go ahead. Okay, is everyone okay with that? I hope you enjoy doing these questions as much as I enjoy going through them. Enjoy is a strong word, I know. I do enjoy going through these with you and explaining, because quite often I also just go by first principle. Every year I try to figure out or rediscover the answer. All right, so I'm going to flip over to the next question is question 6. And question 6 is, what is the answer to question 6? So there are 4 choices, so do not choose choice number E. Okay. So here's a question. I'll give you a few more seconds. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, most people got it right. The answer actually is C, but it's worth explaining. I really I quite like this question. And what you need is so first of all, a straddle, as you must know, is you long a call and a put pretty much at the same strike, okay? And so you're buying a pair of options, okay? Well, one thing interesting about the straddle, by the way, is so I'll give you a very simple example. Just while we're on the subject of straddles, okay? So if we go to optionprice.com, so I'm going to price something. I like to wipe out the interest rates and the dividends just to keep the symmetry, and then I don't have to worry about the forward. So here you have a simple at the money option, which is 30 days. Okay, now imagine if you buy, look on the right hand side. If you buy the call and you buy the put, okay, what would if you do that, which means if you buy the straddle, okay, what is your approximate delta position if you were to do that when you buy the straddle? What is it? What do you think? Can anyone tell me? If you buy a straddle here, what will be your delta? Very good. That's exactly my question. So, what if I ask you for a value? What is the approximate value? Just knowing what you know from the screen. What would be the approximate delta of a straddle given the information on the screen? What's the value? Well, actually, if you buy the call, you'll be 51 delta or 51 and a half. Okay. Now I know I say 51 is actually 0.51, but whether it doesn't matter. So you are 51 delta long, actually 51 and a half, and you are 48 and a half short. So you are going to be long 3 delta, which is very, very little. Okay. So my point to you is this is actually an interesting observation that when you long a call, so you're long delta 0.51, and then you are long a put, so you are short delta 0.48. So if you have a system which simply shows you all the deltas added together, okay, which is how normally people do things, it's going to show that, as CEO just said, you almost have a delta neutral. It's not delta neutral. It's going to be positive 0.03, okay, or 0.028. So it can be actually very deceptive. If you are running an option book and it's got like hundreds, thousands of options, and then you got calls and puts here and there and everywhere, and the deltas are offsetting each other, in the end, the delta value may not actually have that much meaning. You see my point? So here, although your delta is very small, and you go home thinking, oh, I don't have any market risk, actually you do. You have a lot of market risk. Well, the market risk is working in your favor, at least, because if market goes either way, all right, you make money. But imagine you are short the straddle, and you go and tell your boss, oh, I'm delta neutral. Yeah, you are. At this point you are, okay? But as soon as it starts moving, you're in trouble, aren't you? You see my point? Yeah. So delta sometimes can be confusing. It doesn't tell you everything. Anyway, have we done this question yet? Yes, we did, didn't we? Okay. So now the reason it's C is the right answer. So you buy a pair of options. You long the call, you long the put, and you pay 14 for that. Okay. Now the other way is you need to know put call parity, which is you long the call, you short the put is equal to the spot price plus interest on the strike minus X. Now this time there is an additional element, which is the dividend. Okay. Beware these questions. So here we've actually given you a hard dividend, an actual dollar dividend, and then there is an interest rate. Now in the exam, I think they will be much more explicit. They will tell you that it's 4% per annum. Here they haven't, but you can make that assumption. So what do you have? Well, what you're going to have is you're going to have C plus P is 14. I'm going to rewrite that, okay? And then C minus P will be 103 plus interest on the strike, because it's $4 per annum, but it's only a 6-month option, so it's going to be $2 minus the dividend, which is $1, okay, minus the strike. So you end up with basically a pair of equations. So C plus P is 14, and C minus P is whatever it is, 104. It's equal to 4. Okay, so you add them together. So 2C is equal to 18. So C is equal to 9. So this has to be the right answer. In fact, C equals to 9, so P must be equal to 5. Okay. Is everyone okay with that? Tell me if you're not, okay? Okay, so why don't we, please try question 7, okay? So I buy the 1-year 200 Hong Kong dollar call at 9. I sell the same maturity, same strike put. So this question looks suspiciously like the one above, actually. Give you a clue. Give you until 55, okay? Okay, so so here there are only 3 choices. So next question is question 7, and give you a few more seconds. So A or B or C. A. Okay, so we have 16 answers, and the majority answer is correct, but I will tell you why. So the right answer actually is B. Actually, if you in the future, if you need to write out the parity formula, probably you should just go straight for this one and include the dividend in there. If it happens to be 0, then yeah, you just wipe it out, okay? But maybe you know, always have that in there. This is interest on the strike. Now, what's going on here is, so you long the call and you sell the put, and so you buy at $9 and you sell the put at 5. Now, so what you have done is you have you've got a package, you've got a synthetic package, and the package is here. This is the package, and in order to prevent arbitrage, the left-hand side and the right-hand side, they should really be the same. And then now, what do you know? Well, you know what S is. S is 201, okay? And you know interest on the strike. So the strike is 200. Interest rate is 2%. Now, be careful that you check that this is a one-year option and this is a one-year option. So you can put 4 there. Sometimes they trick you. So interest rate is 2% per year, but it's actually a 6-month option, in which case you have to divide by 2. Okay. Now, actually, D, we don't know. It never mentioned anything about D. But the strike, we do know. Okay. So now you got a situation, you have paid $4. That's a fact. Okay. That's your actual cash flow. Now, what you have paid for really should be equal to the package that is on the right-hand side. Now, there's something you don't know. Well, that's okay, because you just do your best, and then you find that 4 is actually equal to 5 minus D. Okay, you get rid of all these other numbers. So that means if D was 1, then you do break even on this trade. Okay. Now, if there was no dividend, if D was 0, so you paid $4, but you got a package which is actually worth 5, and congratulations. But if there is a dividend of $2, so you paid $4, but the package that you now have is actually only worth 3, so you've overpaid. Okay. So B is the right answer. Okay, and most of you picked that one anyway. All right. Question 8 is a kind of quite strange, but have a go at that. So I'll give you until 102. I think when you do more and more of these, you will get used to the style, and you will not find them hard. Okay. Okay, so A, B, C, or D. Okay. So next question. So now we are question 8. What is the answer to question 8? Here's question 8. which of the following statement is not true? So one of them is wrong. Okay, here we go. Okay. No one picked B. The correct answer is D. Indeed, it is D. Now, so which one is wrong is what we're asking. Okay, so one is actually correct. So this is actually the true, this is by definition the future. Okay. When calculating the synthetic, we use interest rate over the strike. Now, what does synthetic mean? It means this thing over here. Okay, so in numerous places, actually, they have used the letter F, which is why I keep warning you. This F here is not the future. It is a kind of synthetic forward. We use interest rate over the strike. So if you were to call that the synthetic, and they do, then yes, you do use interest over the strike. Okay. And we went through that a couple of tutorials ago anyway. So feel free to go back if you need to. When in a long synthetic, a dividend increase would hurt us. Now, the way you can try and figure this out is if you write the whole thing out. So you are long a call and short a put, which is equal to long the stock plus interest on the strike. I'm just going to use X, okay? Minus the dividend minus X. Okay, so you take that to the other side. So long a call, short a put, short the stock is equal to this bunch on the right-hand side. So the question is, what happens if there is a dividend increase? So this is the package you have. Now, you can see that because there's a minus sign in front. So if dividend goes up, this thing will come down. Okay, so this is also correct. So that leaves the last one. The only risk in a synthetic position, which is the position that you have on the left-hand side, okay, interest rate risk and dividend risk. So you got the interest rate here, and you got the dividend here, and both of them actually can change. Okay, the strike cannot change, so it looks quite strange that you have other risks. Well, you do. You have liquidity risk. You have counterparty risk. I think that was the intention of this question. Okay. Otherwise, if you look at the formula, the only things that can change are interest rate and dividend. Okay. Everyone is okay? Yeah. Which of the following statement is correct? Okay, why don't we do this one until 109? This one should be easy. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the next question, which is question number 9. And it is here. So I'll give you a few more seconds. Okay, let's have a look. Interesting. Well, as before, so the answer that most people gave is the correct one, but it's worth just going through what is going on here. Okay, so which of the statement is correct? So clearly, there are a lot of them are wrong, and let's have a look at A to start with. Okay, the future can trade below the strike only if there is a dividend. Now, you just look at this statement without really even analyzing it. You know it's got to be rubbish, because the future can trade wherever it wants to go. Okay, what do you mean it can only trade below the strike only if there's a dividend? The future can go to the sky if it wants to. Okay, so that can't be right. Okay? When the dividend exceeds the interest amount, now this actually it's probably useful to write down the future, and I really mean the future, not that synthetic stuff that sometimes is confusing people. The futures contract is equal to the spot plus interest on the spot minus the dividend. Now I know this is a simple, very linear way of writing. So you can use continuous compounding and all that, but we're not doing that here. Now this is, of course, sometimes known as the cost of carry, or net cost of carry, because it's the net amount, net cost of carry. And when the dividend exceeds the interest amount, so that means this item here is negative. Okay, a put of any given strike is worth more than the call of that strike. Well, you can't really say that for the simple reason that if the stock price right now is 100, then depending on where I have my strike up and down, so if I have my strike up here at 125, then obviously a put here is worth much more than a call. Whereas if your strike was down here at 70, then a call here is much more valuable than a put. So it depends on where you are. There is no fixed relationship like that, regardless of whatever is happening inside the bracket. Okay, and now for C, so when the future trades below the spot, what does that mean? So that means, let's see if I can write it here. So the future trades below the spot. That means the future minus the spot is less than 0. Okay, that's what that means. So what that means is, because F minus S is equal to I minus D, right? So if you are saying that the future minus a spot is less than 0, well, you are really saying that I minus S is also, is also less than 0. Now, on the assumption that I itself cannot be less than 0, that the minimum value I can take is 0, then there must be a dividend priced in. Okay, are you with me there? Because this implies that I is less than D. And if you agree that the absolute minimum value that I can take is 0, okay, then D has to be at least a little bit more than 0. So that means there is a dividend priced in. Okay, that's what this means. Now I know we live in a very strange market nowadays, where you have negative interest rates, which will throw this thing completely out the window. Okay, but we're not dealing with that assumption here. Okay, what's the last one? When the future trades above the spot, there cannot be a dividend. No, that's not necessarily true. When the future trades, okay, I'll rewrite the formula here. Okay? So for question 9, so the future is equal to the spot plus interest on the spot minus the dividend. Okay, so so F minus S is equal to I minus D. Now, if the future trades above the spot, so in the commodity market, there is actually a term for that. Okay? So we are saying that, so the left-hand side is greater than 0. So that means the right-hand side also is greater than 0. Now, what are they saying? There cannot be a dividend. Well, we don't know that. So they're saying that D is equal to 0. No, D doesn't have to be 0. D can be 2. And if I is 3, then this still holds. Okay? Yeah. Okay? Sure.
What is the difference between A and C, except for the strike point? I mean, I thought A and C should be the same meaning.
Oh, A is the future can trade below the strike. The strike. Okay? No, good question. You have to read this quite carefully. A is actually saying the future can trade. Well, it might be clearer still if you take this only here, okay, and take it and put it here. Now reread this sentence. The future can only trade below the strike if there is a dividend, because that is the meaning of this statement. Okay. Now I'm telling you, the future can trade anywhere it wants. You can't say the future can only trade below the strike, with or without a dividend. Okay. So the statement itself doesn't make any sense. Okay. So if the future can trade below the strike only if there's a dividend, that means if there is no dividend, the future cannot trade below the strike. Strike is the strike price. Strike price of the option. No? Sorry? Okay, yeah. Whereas C is not making any comment on whether the future can trade above, or it's just saying when it does. Okay, there is a difference between when and can and cannot. So C is not making any comment on whether the future can trade here or there. It's just saying that when it does this, okay, there must be a dividend priced in. Okay. Okay, now I should tell you, by the way, that there are 16 questions here, and I like to get them all finished today. Now, I may actually go beyond 8 o'clock, but if you have an appointment, you need to go somewhere, or you simply use your brain too much and you're tired and you need to leave, feel free to do so. I don't mind, honestly. Even if you leave, this stuff will still be recorded. It will be on video, and it will be available possibly tomorrow. Okay, so I'm just letting you know. So maybe we do one more question, and then we can take a short break, and then I want to come back and finish all the other ones. Okay, and like I said, I don't mind if you need to. Maybe you have an appointment somewhere. Okay, who knows? So why don't we do question 10, and then we take a short break. I'll give you until 1:23 and a half. Okay. But if you need to leave, make sure you do actually sign in. Okay, so you have to choose between A and B and C. For question 10, and question 10 is, what is the answer to question 10? And question 10 is as follows. So I'm short the October 90 put delta minus 45, with shares trading at 95. After delta hedging, I go to sleep for 2 weeks, and after waking up, The share price is still at 95. So what is my delta position? We seem to have lost a few people. Are they still here? Or they've just ran out of battery or what? Okay, so give you a few more seconds. Here's a question. Okay, make up your mind. Okay, so here we have a pretty even. So A, B, and C are all competing for the right answer. The correct answer is actually C. Okay. Now it's worth going through this. In fact, okay. Now, first question. I am short the October 90 put, delta negative 45, and I'm going to delta hedge this. What do I need to do in order to delta hedge this? Now, this is why it is actually very convenient. In the American system, every time you trade an option, so one option is for 100 shares, and then you just hedge according to whatever is the delta. So let's say you have 100 little puts. See you. What did you say? So you have 100 little puts here, okay? And you need to hedge this, and we just told you that the delta is minus 45. If you want to hedge this, how do you hedge this? That would be the first thing you need to know, okay? If you want to analyze this systematically, okay? What do you need to do to hedge this position? Anyone? Sir? Buy 45 shares, okay? Why? Sell 45 shares. Are you sure? Well, you either have to buy or sell. Actually, your first answer is correct. Huh? All right. Now, if in doubt, you see how everything is related. So you can go back to first principles. So when you are short a put, as I said, okay, so first of all, it's a put option. And when you are short a put, you're down here, okay? You are long delta, so you need to sell shares. If you are long a put, that's different. If you are long a put, you are up here. Then you are short delta, and to hedge that, you need to buy shares, but here you need to sell shares, okay? Which is why this table sometimes can help you, okay? So you are short a put, and you sell some shares, okay? In fact, you sell 45 shares. You sell 45 shares. You could argue that you are short 100 puts. You can look at it that way, okay? So now you are delta neutral, okay? Now, so this is before and after. Now, what happens after is, first of all, for your short selling, so that hasn't changed, okay? So here, when you are short 100 puts, you're actually long delta. You're long delta 45. So which is why here you have you don't have any delta. Okay. Now here, so for your hedge position, that hasn't changed. So you go to sleep for 2 weeks. Oh, that's a nice thing to do. So the question is, this question really is asking you, what happens to your put delta if nothing happens and time is just ticking away 1 day at a time? Okay, what would become this delta? Now, this delta would either be, well, there are only 3 possibilities. Either it stays at 45, or it goes up a bit, or it goes down a bit. Yeah? So here your long delta, okay? So in this case, if it was 47, you actually would become long delta. So in the middle, you are flat. And then on the right-hand side, if the delta becomes 43, you are going to be short delta. Now, you maybe you're wondering, well, how come the delta changes if nothing happens? Maybe that's why some of you are choosing B. The reason that happens is, and I will use the call option just because it's easier to explain. Okay. So the first thing to think about is that this option is out of the money. Okay, so when something is less than 50 delta, it's out of the money. So that's the first point you have to notice. Okay, so for a call option, it would be somewhere here. Let's say, okay, and then now this is before. Now you just imagine 2 weeks later, if nothing happens, I have to hold my breath when I draw this. It's quite hard. So before the delta was here, okay, but now the delta is going to look like this. So you can see it's actually flattened, hasn't it? Now I'm using a put because people find a put easier to understand, but it's a call. Okay, I'm using the call because, so here, whatever is the delta for the call, okay, so if this was 45, so this would definitely be less than 45 because the line has flattened. You can see that. Now, and we can apply this to the put option. And in fact, you are short the put. So your payoff would look something like this. Let's try and draw this properly. Okay, so let's say this was before. Now, are you in the money or out of the money? You're out of the money. There are 2 clues telling you're out of the money. First of all, your delta is less than 50. Okay, never mind the sign, or never mind don't worry about the minus sign. It's minus because this is a put delta. Okay, but the fact that it's 45 means you are out of the money. That's clue number 1. Clue number 2. Well, guess what? Your put has a strike 90, but the price now for the stock is 95. Then of course you're out of the money. Okay, so you have an out of the money put. No, this is a call option. What am I doing? So if you are long the put, it's like this. Okay, but if you are short the put, it will be like that. And the point of interest is somewhere here because you are out of the money. Okay, so let's say this was before, and this would be your delta, and it's minus because your delta is now facing the other way. Okay? So the delta is not this way, but it's actually that way. No, if you have a, sorry, if you are long the put delta, that's what I meant. If you're long the put delta, then it's negative because it's going that way. But if you are short the put delta, if you are short the put, sorry, then your delta is still positive. Okay. Now imagine if this was before. So now I'm going to try and draw that the after. The line might look something like this. So the delta would be, okay, in other words, if this was 45, so that means this was minus 45, okay, then 2 weeks later, if you were long the put long, okay, you're not long, but if you were long, so this might decrease to, let's say, minus 41. But because you are short the put, so this one will be plus 41. Okay, so I now come back here. Well, I know I said 43, but let's just say 41. Okay, so your put that you are short is 41 delta, but your hedge is still at minus 45. So on a net basis, you must be short delta. So C is the correct answer. Is everyone okay with that? Now, I hope all of you who chose C actually really went through this logic, and it's not because you're just lucky, okay? But that would be how you can figure this one out, even from first principle, okay? Now, why don't we just take a very short break? So, so I'm going to start with question 11, okay? And I'll try to finish these clearly and quickly, and then we can get out of here. So with the share price at 105, I have the following position. So the spot price right now is 105, and I am long a October 110 put, and I'm short a December. Okay, so I have a calendar spread here. I have a calendar spread. And now again, this question is quite similar to the previous one, and you have to try to understand the way these payoff curves look like. You might recall that I was showing you how the payoff curves actually evolve over time for either a call option or a put option. So here we are talking about a put option. So as you are far away and closer, okay, so this curve will change. So when you do a question like that, this is what you need to keep in mind, okay? So you're long the 110 put. Now, so first of all, my first reaction, so I'll tell you what is going through my mind, okay? My first reaction is that this put is in the money. So I'm long and in the money put, which is closer, and I'm short and in the money put, which is further away, okay? Now, how do in the money puts behave? So let's say right now we are in September, and there's a put option. Okay. No, I don't draw these things very well. The point being, so if you are in the money, you are in this region over here. And so this put here would probably have a delta that looks something like this. But as you get closer, it's going to get steeper. The most extreme, of course, is at maturity. Basically, your gradient just becomes this dark line that I'm now drawing, okay? So it's gradually steepening. It gets steeper and steeper. So that means your delta, the number, is actually going to get bigger and bigger. Now, this put is already in the money, so let's just say, and when we are doing these questions, I actually like to put numbers on them, okay? So this put here, this would be the December one, this would be the October one, okay? So the one that's further away is higher, you know, it's a little bit more elevated. So let's say the put was 55, let's just say it is, okay? Then I know that this one has to be, let's say, 58. Okay, now it doesn't matter whether it is 58 or not. These are just relative numbers to help me analyze this. Now, first of all, it's minus 55 and minus 58 if you are actually long these options. And I am actually long, I am long the October one, so I would have minus 58 delta, and then I'm short the other one, so I would have plus 55 delta, okay? So on a net basis, I am actually short delta. So in order to hedge this, I actually need to buy shares to neutralize. Is everyone okay? Yeah? If you can follow me, you're doing very well at 8:30 on a Saturday evening, okay? If you can't follow me, just go home and maybe you can play this segment again. I think you should be able to understand, okay? Now, question 12. I have a mystery position that has the following characteristics. Actually, I stopped asking you guys to do these questions just when it's actually getting a bit more difficult. My position is gamma short and delta long, and the share price is 95. So my position is which one? Now this looks more like an exam question. Okay. Okay, so the share price is 95. So the first thing I notice is that these options here, these calls and puts, they are not at the money. So they will either be in the money or out of the money. Okay, now that can be an important point. So let's try to analyze answers A, B, C, and D, all of them, okay? And I want to look at their delta position and also their gamma position. Now, if you're wondering, how do I do that? I guess you need to refer back to this very, very useful little, these tables, which I've drawn over, okay? Especially the one in the middle. So when an option is around 5% either side, no, let me say it again. Okay, when you have an option, let's say it's strike 50, and the share price is 5% either side. You see, I've even written 5% here. Okay, when it's near the money, then the gammas are approximately symmetric. Okay, so when you have an option which is 5% in the money or 5% out of the money, the gammas actually are approximately equal. It's another way of saying that if let's say you have a call option Okay, so here gamma is very high, but at this point the gamma here and the gamma here, okay, so this is like 95% of the strike, and here is 105%. So the gammas are approximately equal, okay. For calls and for puts, okay. If you are talking about the same underlying, and that turns out to be an important consideration, because if you look at A, okay, if you look at A, so long the call, you are long delta, and long the put, you are short delta, but you are short the put, you are long delta, so you are long and you are long, so on a net basis, you must be long. You are delta long, okay? And for gamma, okay, so here you are long gamma, 5% out of the money, and here you are short gamma, and you are 5% in the money, okay? So one you are long, the other you are short, so here you are likely to be gamma flat. Okay, so A cannot be the right answer because you are gamma short. Okay, now let's look at B. Don't worry if you don't follow me right now. You can go home and play this, and then I know it's complicated. That is why I'm recording this. Okay, now for B, what's going on with B? So long call, you are long delta. Okay. Long put, you are short delta. But here, okay, now you have to actually look in a bit more detail. Okay. I don't know, these things are not hard once you understand. Okay, now you are long call, but your call is out of the money. So if you have to give it a delta, probably it will be somewhere around 45. It's definitely less than 50. Okay, now you are long the put, so that one is a short delta, but your put, is it in the money or out of the money? It's in the money. Okay, so it may have let's say a 55 delta. Okay, so on a net basis, you are not delta neutral. You will be delta short. Okay, so I know right away that B cannot be the right answer because it says you are delta long. In fact, you can look further. So you're long a call, you're long a put. So I already told you that when you are long options, where's that? So when you are long options, so you're long a call, you're long gamma, you're long a put, you're also long gamma. So you are long and you are long, so you must be long. So you are long and you are long, so you are long gamma. So it's actually wrong on both counts. Choice B, that is. Okay. Now for C, what's happening with C? So here you are short the call, and I can actually use the numbers from B. So if you're long the call, you at 100, it will be 45 delta. So if you are short the call, it's going to be minus 45 delta. Okay, and you are short the put. So actually, I'm just flipping these now. I'm simply flipping these numbers. You can see that, can't you? Okay, so now I am actually long delta, and I must be short gamma because I'm short option, I'm short option. So whenever you are short option, it's only when you are long one and short the other you have to worry. But here I'm short, I must be short. Okay, so I am long delta, I am short gamma. So C is actually the right answer. Now I can actually go one step further and share with you why D is not the right answer. Okay, so look at D. So for D, I'm short call. So I'm just going to stick with that minus 45 delta. Okay, I'm long the put. Now, when you are long the put, you are also you are long delta. No, sorry, you are short. I beg your pardon. You are short delta. Okay, so you will be short 55. It doesn't really matter whether you are short 55 or 38, whatever, because you are short and you are short. So overall, you will be short. So this one cannot be the right answer because you are delta long. Okay. Now, as for the gamma, so this one is 5% out of the money. The put is 5% in the money. And I already said that, so you are long gamma in one, you are short gamma in the other. And the gamma values actually are approximately the same. So you could argue that here you are gamma flat, okay? And we are referring to basically, if I can blow this up, so, you know, these 2 points here, okay? So gamma values are approximately symmetric, whether you are in the money or out of the money. So here you are at the money, and then in the money and out of the money. Okay. All right. Now, so let me continue. I do want to let you go. So question 13. With a share price trading at $100, I'm long for gamma. Which of the following delta hedge regimes would you prefer? Well, actually, this question is asking if you were delta neutral every step of the way, which price path would you prefer? Now, it's actually quite simple. So you know that the gamma revenue that you earn is a half times gamma times the price change squared, okay? In fact, you don't even have to worry about half gamma. Now, for the first one is a half times 4 times the square of 3. So that is equal to 18. And for the second one, up $2, you earn gamma revenue from that. And then you earn some more. And then you just add them together. So what is that equal to? 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. Now for the last one, so you earn is half gamma times $1.50, and basically that happens 3 times. What's the square of $1.50? It's 225, isn't it? So 225 times 2 is 450. 450 times 3 is $13.50. So you can see immediately that, and this is related to questions that we were discussing last time. Do you prefer small scalps up and down, you know, locking in little profits, little bit of gamma revenue here and there? Do you prefer that, or do you want to just wait for one big move and then you don't touch it. The problem is if you don't touch it, then if you get C and then you don't hedge, it goes up, it comes back down. So it's as if this never even happened. Okay. And then when you get to this point, you've just made $1.50. Okay? Everyone is okay with that? Yeah. All right, now, question 14. I sell the October 100 call for $4. So contract size 100. So that means there's 100 little calls in there for 100 shares. I buy 40 shares, not 100, 40 shares at $98. My break-even point at expiry are what? And well, this one is actually simple. Okay, you can just work out. So it's focusing on numbers like 108 and 92 and so on. Now, what happens at 108? So you have a call option and you have some stocks. Now, if it's so you sold a 100 strike call at $4. It's 108, so you're going to be losing $8 per share. It's a loss multiplied by 100. However, they paid you $4, so on a net basis, you only lose $4. Okay, so you've lost $400. And you buy shares at 98. It's now at 100. You buy 40 shares, and for each share, you have actually made $10. So you've actually made $400. So actually, you've broken even. So 108 is definitely correct. So one of these has to be right. Okay. So let's look at 92. Okay, what happens at 92? So what happens to your call? Well, they will not claim on you. So you get to keep that. You get to keep all the premium. But you bought some shares at 98, and the share price is now 92. So you lost $6 over 40 shares. So your losses are $240. So this is not a break even. You've actually made money. Okay? You have made money. You made $160. So this can't be right. So it has to be this. But we shouldn't be so lazy. Okay, so let's try and verify what happens at 88. So at 88, so your call, you still get 400. And for the stocks, you have now lost $10 per share. And it's 40 shares. So it's $400. Okay? Everyone is okay with that? So this one shouldn't be that hard. Okay? Now 15. And then after that, just one more. We might even leave that till next time. Yeah, 16 is quite hard. Or what we can do is, I just ask you to go home and do 16, and then next time we'll discuss it. Okay. I buy the October 100 straddle. So you know what a straddle is, right? V for victory. You buy the October 100 call and put for $10. I buy 20 shares at 98. Well, again, this is really just simple computation. So you got the call at 100. You're long that. You're long the put also at 100. you buy some shares, so you're buying a lot of stuff, okay? You buy 20 shares at 98. But don't forget that you pay premium, okay? And now there's one thing they have not specified here. So unless otherwise stated, so every time you trade these things, it's for 100 shares, okay? So you have 100 straddles, so the premium is going to be $1,000. So that one you have to pay regardless. So that's already you already paid that. Okay. Now I can just plug in all the numbers and try and figure out what's going on. So at 90, so my call doesn't make money. My put will make $10. So for 100 shares, it's going to make $1,000. I buy 20 shares at 98. So I have lost $8 per share over 20 shares. So this is not break even. I can tell right away. Okay. So forget about A, forget about C. I mean, you can verify on 110 and 108, but I don't want to keep you longer here. Okay. Now, let's try. Now, 88 has to be correct because 88 appears in B and D. Okay. I know. Okay, let's try and figure it out. So 88, your code is useless. So this one you make 1,200. You have lost $10 a share over 20 shares. So that is $200. That's your loss. Okay? And also the premium doesn't change. The premium appears in all four scenarios. So clearly you made $1,200 and you've lost $1,200. Okay, so 88 is correct, as I said. Okay. Let's try 108. You can see these things can be quite simple. Okay, so you got a call at 100, so you're going to be making $800 here. The put is useless, and for stocks, you have made $10 per share for 20 shares. So you made $200. So you make 800, you make 200, you made 1,000, which will exactly offset your premium payment. So 88 and 108 are correct. Okay? I won't do this one because you can work out on your own. Well, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for staying behind. I am going to let you go, like I promised. And why don't you go home and try this? And we will do that either next time or I will ask Govert to go through it in class. Okay? It's actually it's an interesting little problem. So I would post that onto Blackboard, but if you've taken a picture, that's fine. Okay? Thank you for coming, everyone. And if you have any other problems or questions, please feel free to write to me.